better.
Call to order the PlayEast Recreation Board meeting for Tuesday, September 2nd. Roll call.
We'll go with Patricia Smith,
Here.
Jenny Weber,
Here.
Jennifer Lightheart,
Here.
and Mandy Stafford.
Here.
Staff is here. And then John, Justin, and Mayor Kudernat are not here with us today.
So I guess we'll just start with some basic introductions. I'm Jenny Weber. I'm a Fairview resident and also on the city council here. And the vice chair. I've been on PlayEast since, I think I joined in like 2020, maybe even 2020 or 2020,
Same, yeah.
2021 maybe.
It was before you got on council. So.
I got on council 2022. So I think it was 2021. Anyway, yeah, it was right after COVID because again, my kids were getting older and weren't as dependent on me. And I said, well, I have time. What should I do with it? Sure, let's take on more work. I've been here ever since. I love it.
Well, it's good to have you here.
Patty, you want to go next?
Are we all doing this? Okay.
Yes.
Patricia Smith, I'm on the Wood Village City Council, and I've been on the board of PlayEast since the very beginning. What else? I live in Wood Village, of course. I have a rescue dog. All my kids are grown, and I have great grandchildren that I never thought I would have, you know?
That's exciting.
It's like, what? Great. That can't be right. Let me see. Yeah, it's all right. But that's about it in a
Patricia
nutshell.
also did some time as mayor for Wood Village.
Oh, yeah, that was a while
history of
back.
Public service.
Way back.
Yeah, the beginning of PlayEast was in 2016 when there was a task force created by the city. So
Yeah.
she was one of the original ones.
Yeah. And they said it couldn't be done.
I'm Jairo. I'm the recreation director, and I've been in this position since 2018, the later part of the year. And so I've been in and around the program kind of since the beginning as well.
But Jairo's been the director for about 6 months, so he was a manager previously, now he's a director, he has more staff and bigger team, but I hope you don't mind me sharing that. I'm Nathan George, city manager, started December 30th. Council did not want me to wait till January. Had me December 30th.
Needed you. And now you know why we needed you.
Yeah, oh, thank you. So I'm excited to be here. Quick about me, I'm originally from Camas, Washington. So I grew up there. I worked as a city manager, assistant city manager most of my career for over 20 years. I'm all over the United States. Came back, and I was most recently, before this, I was the city manager for 4 years.
I'm Greg. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So our council did interview Jennifer for the position, so it's not our first time meeting, but good to see you again. So yeah, I've been with the city 17 years, manager since 2019. Was aware of the inception of recreation, didn't take the lead role in it until about 2018. But yeah, just good works and happy to have you as part of the group.
I'm Mandy Sandiford. I am also a Fairview resident. I work for the state of Oregon and have a kindergartner. And I've been here, I started during the long legislative session. That's all I remember. So sometime in the winter of this year, and hoping to be more involved now that that's over. Okay, nice.
Short sessions around the corner.
It's not talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm also a Fairview resident.
My name is Jennifer Lightheart. I am a Wood Village resident. I have lived in Fairview and Wood Village for like the last 11 years and then two to 3 years in Fairview. And this is my first go around at something like this because similar to Jenny, my kids are older. I'm a little bit more established in life and I'm looking to see how I can help my community.
Right.
Great. I'm really glad you're here.
Welcome. Yes.
Yeah, welcome.
We needed this position filled, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
Thank you.
We need you.
Yes. Has everybody had a chance to read the June minutes? And are there any corrections that need to be made, or do I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion to approve minutes as written.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Perfect. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to the fiscal year 24-25 budget recap.
Yeah, so I will give you all a quick minute. So this was not in the original packet that was sent out last week. In a busy week, which is finished this today. So I'll give you guys a quick minute to read through it real quick, and then just hit some highlights of last year's fiscal budget.
I do like mistakes that are positive.
So obviously, so I have more content behind that. So the last, not this current fiscal year's budget, but the last budget the city of Fairview did was a biennium. So last fiscal year was our second year of the biennium budget. So I say that because what I learned is, even though there's fiscal years, 2 years within that year, it's kind of the overall budget that you have to spend within those 2 years. So I will also say these are unaudited numbers. So we are hoping pretty soon we'll get close to coming to truer numbers. But even within that, there are some corrections that I will also just say, overall, the budget, our PlayEast budget is a healthy budget, even with these numbers that will be shown today, but again, looking at those corrections. Just for content, so PlayEast, the way the PlayEast budget has always been created was that both cities' contribution helped cover the recreation manager's cost. Everything outside of that is covered by grants, contributions to sponsorships, partnership revenue, now reimbursement, scholarship reimbursements, and registration fee revenue. So everything else gets covered within those revenue line items there. So last fiscal year, we budgeted to have revenue of nearly about $150,000 for that fiscal year. At the end, we were able to generate about 1.4% more than what we budgeted for. In big part was to raising efforts. I will say, so again, this orange, there was a partnership that I came 2022 with Multnomah County, where they were offering $9,000 to participate in a community health assessment that were unrestricted funds. So they, for I think it was like 3 or 4 meetings, they paid all organizations $9,000 each. So in this 55,000, there's $9,000 that technically will not, that will be reverted into the partnership revenue, because that's where it should live. It shouldn't be contributions and sponsorships. With that said, we still came over our contributions and sponsorship by about $8,000, what we did budgeted. That $8,000, again, doesn't, will include this $2,500 that are underneath where it says dinner fund, it's dinner fundraiser. So that used to be a line item we had, but we still have to do some cleaning up on the budget and remove some of these things. But that was put in there, but again, it should be in the contributions and sponsorships. Going back to partnerships and revenue, just currently how it sits like this, there is still a Q4 of fiscal year 24-25 contribution or partnership administration fee from the city of Gresham is not reflected in here. So this will also increase an additional $10,000. So overall, this line item here will increase $19,000 because again, the $10,000 that aren't captured at all in this revenue, and then correcting $9,000 out of the contributions to sponsorship. So that's just rectifying there. The other piece is registration revenue. So just how it is here, it's much lower than the adopted budgeted for that biennium second year. But looking more into it, we found that there is still some unaccounted money. I mean, we still have it. It just needs to be directed into the PlayEast funds. So we've had some personnel turnover that was kind of leading that efforts. And so right now we're just doing our best to catch up to that. So again, that's where I say there will be changes to that, especially on the revenue side. So again, as we currently sit just with these numbers, revenue has increased 1.4%. Hoping when all the corrections happen, we should actually be closer to, I think I put in here like 38% increase of revenue. So we'll be closer to that $200,000 revenue. This is straight revenue. This is not including the contributions from both cities or the beginning fund balance as well. So again, as we look at the whole, we're still sitting very healthy, but with those corrections, we'll be in a better position moving forward. Another big piece, if we kind of move down and look at personnel services. So this is we had, for, again, the fiscal year 24-25, we had 2 temp positions plus the recreation manager. So that's kind of all included in there in that number for personnel services. So we've overexpended close to 30,000 in personnel services. A lot of that is due to the previous year grant in the first year of the biennium of 23-24, the grant we got from the county, which was $45,000 of it, which a portion of that was to increase staff time to help manage that grant. We didn't expend all that money in that fiscal year, so we were able to roll it over to the second year of the biennium. And through the board, giving us the go-ahead, we were able to increase our program, who is now our program coordinator, her time during the year. And that's where that increase of $30,000 worth for expenditures for personnel services. Money we had, we just needed to spend it. We didn't anticipate it in the second year. So that's where that increase there is. Materials and services. We did look into this, and a big piece. So this is kind of where we found out that registration revenues didn't quite match up. So last fiscal year, we had an increase in registered participants. So the way our registration revenue and how we pay our providers is a split share revenue. So most of our providers get 80% of our registration revenue and we keep 20. So when those numbers didn't really match up, that's where I knew that there was a discrepancy here of funds needing to come in. So a big piece of, again, materials and services increasing was because we did have an increase in registration revenue. So that means a higher increase in course instructor fee payouts. So that's a direct correlation there. And I think last year we ended up, I want to say, don't quote me, but I want to say we ended the whole year with like a 42% increase. Our participation throughout the whole fiscal year. So again, a big number there that correlates to the higher expenditure there. The other piece that we did see is that materials and supplies did increase as well. But again, as programs increase, sometimes materials and supplies also kind of direct correlation there. So that's kind of the big things we notice on expenditures that I wanted to bring to the board. But again, there's reasoning behind it. It wasn't that we just, we decided to buy a new van because we wanted to. No, so there's real reason behind the expenditure. And then if we look over our, again, overall budget, currently our ending fund balance is close to $178,000, which is, again, pretty healthy from where we once started the program of that nature.
Ask a couple, just make sure I understanding the budget, because it's a Fairview budget, so I don't always get to peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
That's fair to say.
The iron curtain.
The iron curtain, what that.
So we got the beginning fund balance of 204, so that's what we started this past fiscal year.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Then now the contributions from the two cities, which essentially pays for your time, which would normally be seen reflective in that personal services of 188. But part of that 204 is leftover grant money from the previous year that helped cover Nancy for this past fiscal year, thus explaining the 30,000 difference. When you look at the total revenues area, the 150, I'll call it 5, going to be increasing at least probably 20,000, it sounds like.
At the very minimum, I think.
Which then more than covers the 141 in actual program expenditures.
Correct.
So even though we look at then the ending fund balance being from, going from 204 to 178, we know it'll go
It's
up
going to increase,
more.
yeah.
And a good chunk of that was the grant holdover that was expended. So really, it seems like from an operating perspective,
Yes.
we're actually, yes, it dropped, essentially call it 30.
Sure.
But we know why, and generally, we're sustainable.
Exactly. So, I mean, the whole idea of how PlayEast was again structured was that through our revenue streams that were beginning fund balance and contributions from the city, understanding that grant funds are one-time dollars, that we would still be sustainable to cover all program costs, true costs, with, true program revenue. So it's, again, that wash there. So there's not really much left over, but we've been trying our best in managing the budget for the program to ensure that we can meet that. That is our primary investment cities are making for this. That is
The questions?
it was a lot.
It's such an exciting topic.
Yeah.
But again, we're in a very good shape, and I think once these corrections are made, we'll end up in a better position. Continue to plan for what the future holds for the program.
Questions? Can move on to the summer camp recap.
So the fun stuff, let's say. So this summer was still overall a good summer. We offered 70 camps over the course of mid-June through mid-August, about 2 months. This year, we were successfully able to run 46 of those. And we served a total of 230 participants. This is a 9% decrease from last year. Registration revenue came close to more than $37,000, which again, it is a 14% decrease from last year. Factors that we kind of heard throughout the community was just the cost of living has increased significantly. So, you know, they were still grateful for our programs that are significantly more affordable than other programs in the area. So, you know, that was a plus, but, you know, hearing other communities just talk about saving money for unexpected circumstances. So that was something we heard quite significantly. And we saw also at events. We saw a huge decrease in community participation at our normal events where we've seen really high volume of local community members. So kind of all that in play, you know, made us look at, even for next summer, you know, do we offer as much as we did this year? Or do we again try to right size for what we can best plan for? We had a similar situation of trying to overplan, I will say, a few years ago when our first year with the city of Gresham came on board, of just trying to anticipate a huge influx of registration, which didn't work out also. So then the following year, we were able to better size what we offered to fit the community's needs. So I think that's a big lesson learned that we took from this year again, understanding that, you know, unfortunately, some of the things that our community members feel are happening nationally also, so that does have some effect, and it's our reality. So kind of trying to right size what we offer during the summer, I think it's going to be our goal for next. Overall, I mean, it still falls in line with one of our best summers that we've had so far in offering summer camp, so we're still optimistic for that. As for scholarships, scholarship was one of our biggest years of offering scholarships. We awarded 47 scholarships for a grand total of a little more than $5,300 worth of amount or value there for registrations. And a big piece of that was our full day camps were our more popular camps, and so those were roughly $230 for the camp. And so a lot of folks, you know, looking for a need of full day activities for their kiddos, you know, a lot of them were awarded scholarship recipients. So I think it falls in line with the mission of the board of continuing to be affordable and offer these assistance to our community.
I'm assuming you're new, but you were told in orientation how scholarships work?
I don't recall.
I don't think so. Oh, that's my fault. So
I'm not trying to.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Program, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, so this is fairly new, and so about maybe a year and a half or so of how this policy works. And so the way we award scholarship is that residents just in East Multnomah County, or just folks that want to participate in our program, just fill out a small questionnaire that has general information. Some of it is income-based, but we don't ask proof of income. It's just kind of an honor system, but at the same time, they apply or request financial scholarships once, and it's good for until the next calendar year, February. So they can register and participate to as many programs, camps as they are able to register for. We don't have a cap, and we don't put a kind of like a percentage on for those scholarships. So it's just really lowering the barriers for folks that are in need to continue to participate. And so again, if they apply for it in March, they basically get a whole year worth of that staying on their account. If they apply for it in December, again, in February, they would have to reapply. That's the only caveat there.
Is it based by family or like by child?
By child. So sometimes, we do give parents that have multiple children, and so the way we have it is to just kind of gauge just what are the more popular classes. So if, one parent is like, I want my kids to solely do basketball. And so we just have them fill one of those questionnaires, put all the children's name on there, and then they get it. If they're wanting to do multiple programs, each child, then we do ask each child does a questionnaire, because then again, some of their interests could be different. And so that's just a way for us to track, where kind of are those more popular classes and that need financial assistance.
So when you say that some of the scholarships require financial information and some don't, is it more do, more don't, all do?
Well, they all have that question, right? And so it's just, the individual answering the question, but we don't require them to prove the proof of income or
Okay.
that nature.
Then what that to sound crass or anything, then what is the point of having the financial question? Because to me, asking for financial assistance is overcoming that pride already. Why would I have to also prove to you by, just checking a box for my income limit that I actually do need this?
Yeah, at that time, that was the board's decision of to include that on there. I think all metrics that we were kind of gearing to use and have continued to use just to simplify was the Reynolds School District free and reduced lunch. And hitting the metrics of just that household income was automatic 50%, so they're automatic 50%. And then from there, could determine a little more up to 80% off for registration.
Isn't it, if they're at a school with free and reduced, it's an automatic 50?
Yeah.
Then if their needs more,
It's yeah. So I guess it's just a way for us to, the board has given me the authority to kind of, to move within 50 to 75 to 80%. And that, I guess that metric kind of helps concrete the decision. I may say, they go to Fairview Elementary, they may X, well, we're going to move on to 75 or 80% off. That's just kind of a way to define the reason why we did that.
Okay, and then is that based on gross income or net? When on the form that you?
It's just, we don't go into that far detail. It's just, we just say, we give them ranges, and it's just kind of what they choose to kind of pick per se. So,
Okay.
it's not really, again, gross or net income. It's just what they feel best fits within their family situation at the time. The following pages kind of give you more just detail of those programs and classes that we did. Obviously, the red means two things. One, we've canceled programs, or two, they're full. And again, looking at how many programs we offered during the summer, we do see, a significant amount of those being canceled due to low registration. So our providers do have a minimum of registered participants per camp that they request to be able to run camps. We've tried to work with some of the providers to say, we're really close there, could you just invoice us for the few that are left and just to run camp. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't with providers. It's just kind of, it's up to their discretion to, if that's how they want to move forward. I will say that this year, due to canceling the significant amount of camps, we did make a decision to run some in-house camps this year. And so by program coordinators that we hired on, they actually ran the programs in-house. And so looking to not cancel any more camps. 6-year-old age range, which was the mini Hawks. But I think it's something we felt a need to do. We needed to do it, and it was a great value. And so we found that a lot of parents still appreciate that, and within that age range are still looking for something to do. So as we plan for next year, that's again the piece of that right sizing. Do we do those in-house versus having Skyhawks do them. Because again, we can adjust that minimum to what we see fit and things of that nature. And the other piece to that is while we do them in-house, we keep 100% of that registration revenue for us as well. So I mean, there's a lot of benefit of using providers, but also benefit of us looking into doing some of these things in-house.
So without looking at historical data, have these similar or same classes been canceled in previous years for lack of attendance?
No, so a lot of the ones that have been canceled, we did notice were newer classes. So Skyhawks with like baseball and soccer, those are typically new programs that we haven't offered with them. We do have a soccer camp that did run with a different provider and that ran again. So those traditional camps that we've had for over some years, they continue to run. And so it's more or less like those additional ones that we wanted to try that were more or less the ones that didn't run and things of that nature.
So do we know why they didn't pick up like the other soccer versus the one that we've had for a few years?
Yeah, one I know like that instructor has a huge following. So when she came on board as a provider for us, had worked for another provider that no longer is in our area. And so she brought a following with that as well. And so she's just created this following of folks who's really liking how she operates program in general. I think some of it is just timing of like when during the summer that things happen. Those camps that have been successful have been running on that same week for some time. So like that soccer camp is always that second week in July with the last week in July, August also, and then, you know, that first week in August for like a cheer camp. So they've been more consistent. So folks have learned to be like, nope, this is the weeks we do these things. And so again, learning that is also a piece to right sizing again. And so do we, maybe some of the other camps that we've done that have met those minimums but not much more than that, do we change those to something different? Just because again, is the consistency of those weeks that really seem to work with families.
Sounds good, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting because you get, like, I know Tippy Toes, generally, it's a huge program, but cancels some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But then you look at like Legos, engineering,
Yeah.
Minecraft.
You know, you change that to Legos, Roblox.
Yeah.
And it's going,
Yeah.
it's going back up. And I was surprised to see that the swimming lessons weren't completely booked out. Yeah.
And we've seen that program kind of do a little bit like this, especially the summertime, it kind of took a dip, but as we're looking, again, we're already in fall for us programming. We've seen an increase in how many, folks are registered for that. So it's, again, I think timing has to do a lot with it. I think maybe more people were traveling, doing things also during the summer.
Or other pool option.
Or, things of that nature. So, again, some of the Lego camps, like last year, we had all our Lego camps running. This year, it's just a handful, I think only 3 of them were successfully ran. And so again, it's just learning again, what the community needs and really would like us to provide and things of that nature. So Minecraft for sure, maybe 2 weeks of Minecraft. Or if they have Roblox, we do something with Roblox.
Are we kind of tracking like the age ranges for these groups that show up and register, and then, as they kind of get older, are they doing the same things? And then what are we doing to bring in, our 4 and 5, 6-year-olds right now playing with Legos?
Yeah. So we have seen that, again, our bread and butter is that like 7. That is because my experience, they don't get options, they get told. This year, turning 11. There's a lot of pushback of like, I'm not going to do it. So I think we feel right around that age is kind of like, what is their interest in? So, that's where I think Minecraft really hit, because it is for that older age, right? And there was a animal that was for the younger age, and it wasn't as, so it was just like, so where maybe if they had a younger Minecraft, maybe more of those younger ones, but because that curriculum came for the older age, it just really worked out better.
I think we've seen that kind of historically where PlayEast again kind of focuses, 3 and 4-year-olds sure offer some stuff, but generally that, 6 to 9, 10 is really the focus, because once they start getting 10, 12, 13, if they're in athletics, they're trying to, it's different kind of level, or potentially, whether it's piano, dance, again, they're looking for almost a club level type of opportunity, but something more than maybe general recreation. So we've really focused a lot on that kind of, you can explore a whole bunch of programs and see what you like to do that may lead you into school sports that you already come with a foundation or other clubs or.
And I will say what we learned a lot this year for especially running the in-house ones, that that younger group is, kind of how people have called them like the COVID babies. Like, I mean, they're, and it's true because, we've had parents say, they really haven't had programs or opportunities to interact. So they're cautious. And so that younger age right now, we're noticing that there's a lot more support that needs to come with that as well. And so that's why when we did the in-house ones, we had the coordinators plus youth interns. So the ratios are not typical ratios that like Skyhawks would do, because Skyhawks would do probably a 1-to-8 ratio. For that age group, you need more. It's just because of the demand. So we're learning that also. So as this new kind of wave of younger kids come in, what does that really look like and what are they into versus what we traditionally have? And so where do we need to change some of those things? Because the physical activity of sports weren't as attractive to them as traditionally have been that we've seen, where it's just like, they're having fun, they want to run around. A lot of these kids would prefer sitting down, do arts and crafts, or do other things. And so again, we're looking at how do we better fit and serve our community and those needs that they are looking for. A lot of lessons learned this summer.
I will say I'm really happy to see the scholarships going up and up and up, because I remember those conversations a few years ago when we were like, how can we get the word out to let people know that we have these scholarships? Because you can see that there just wasn't a lot of usage of all that.
Yeah, so I think that's something we've done really well in our outreach to community members. Again, I think the whole aspect of, having them do one interest form versus every time they want to participate doing one, I think has also alleviated a lot of that stress as well. And so I think we're working towards a good direction there.
I want to get into your point, Jennifer, not asking for so much information that, it's already tough. And that's why it's called a scholarship, not, financial aid. And still then, so what can you contribute to feel like you as a parent or whomever guardian is meaningfully contribute to what you can for that child's participation. So it's, not just a handout. It's, there's been a lot of discussion on how to, right size and fit the financial aspect to make it affordable.
Yeah.
Another thing, if I may add really quickly, Hyra has it in the report, he didn't really talk much about it, but although I don't think you have empirical data, there's a general sense of a lot of concern about federal policies. And so because of those economic and socioeconomic and social policies, then it's affecting a lot of the registrations, and they are choosing not to attend for various reasons.
Yeah.
But still strong, a strong summer registration.
And
And camps still pay.
they do. Summer is our kind of our big bang for our buck, per se, right? That's where we capture a lot of our registration revenue moving forward towards the year. So that's really kind of set forward. And I still think we're going to be heading in the right direction. So again, it's not what we did last year, but again, it's up there again for what we've done as one of our best summers. So still feel good of where we're at with some registration.
Around that topic of camps, do we do anything for like winter break, spring break camps, the short Thanksgiving holiday break that kids are out for that week?
So short answer, yes. And no. No, so it's really dependent on availability of facilities. So for something, winter break, it's dependent on one or two things. One, the holiday falls, and two, if facilities are available from the rental school district. We partner up with the rental school district for some facilities and things of that nature. Spring break has been a more consistent thing. Last spring was our first spring where we actually did a sports camp and held it at the Fairview Elementary, and it had great success. So I think this spring we want to do something like that again. In previous year, we've done winter camps, but more like Legos, because again, the Fairview has a small community center, more at our disposal to schedule those things and things of that nature. This winter, again, and last winter, there's unique struggles because again, the holiday's right in the middle of the week. So how do you know, parents want to do it before or after, half a week then, half a week later. So, you know, these last year and this year, we haven't done anything for winter break just because I think it's a planning nightmare, you know? And so I think, but what we are gonna do this year, and we're gonna try it out, is we're gonna do a one-day camp. So we're gonna offer, I believe, our program coordinators had said December 23rd, and we're gonna do a half day. So half day, we call half days 3 hours. So we're looking at, I think they wanna do like 11 to 2, where again, they're gonna be doing it in-house, where they provide activities, crafts and things for kiddos to come do, while parents either wanna go shopping for 3 hours or
I was like,
just.
3 hours, you buy a Christmas present, wrap a Christmas present.
And then go pick up your kids.
It's the 23rd, that's what I'd be doing, like, yep, go to camp, I'm gonna spend 3 hours wrapping.
And I think this idea stems from, you know, program coordinators are two moms that are kind of in that stage, and so I said, well, you guys want to try, let's go for it. So we're trying new things as we're able to, understanding that there is some need, you know, we did it 1 year and it was a great success, and I think those needs are always there. We're just limited on facilities and trying to pre-plan, nothing against our rental school district partners, and you know, he's not here, and so I don't want, but sometimes coordinating can be a challenge. And so understanding that it means something for them also, paid staffers to go in space, kind of do all these pieces. Yeah, so as we try to coordinate as much possible, we try to as much, especially those longer holidays, breaks, understanding that that's really our possibility to capture, you know, participation, things of that nature. So.
And Jenna, if I may,
Yeah.
if you don't know, maybe you do know, but we have very limited actual facilities ourselves. I mean, I think Wood Village has, you have a nice ballpark, and you have other facilities that you utilize.
It's pretty much the park.
Park, and then we have one community center, which is over 100 years old, and it has one space upstairs that is, I would argue, not accessible. I thought it was until I actually looked at it. So, another conversation, but.
Okay.
So we only have those two spaces. Everything else is all through either.
Beg and borrowed.
Yeah, everything else. We don't even have, Fairview has wonderful parks. We don't have any active parks. We don't have any pickleball courts or volleyball courts. There's nothing we can offer except for playgrounds and walking, which are beautiful.
Yeah.
But they're not those active type things. So anyway, the point is that it takes a lot of coordination to have to coordinate with all these different entities. And Hiram's done an amazing job building upon the foundation was already there.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't imagine the coordination nightmare. I wasn't sure, like, this is my first go around, so I wasn't quite sure, you know,
Yeah.
how this had played out in the past or what the plans were for the
Yeah,
future.
and I think the more and this is my philosophy, the more we plan and show other entities like the need is there, and by doing this really helps their families also, especially school districts, the more willing they are. We've actually seen that with the Brooklyn School District. Now, you know, they're kind of turning the page and like more willing to work with us in these situations. So that's where it's important to continue that conversation and say, hey, well, what about this? An ultimate goal of mine, you know, I doubt it will happen next summer, but they don't use all the school facilities for summer learning. So looking at what schools are not using within, you know, there's Fairview Elementary, Woodland Elementary, and Sage Pond Elementary, very close by here. Which one of those schools they might not be using for the summer? Can that be our summer hub for the summer, right? So we can do all of our programs right then and there. So parents that have multiple children that, okay, well, one doesn't want to do sports, the other one doesn't want to do art. It's like, you can just come drop them off and we'll put them in the respectful place, program that you registered for them. And again, have them be safe under one hub and just be centralized. And so that's a conversation that started, but again, there's more nuances in the planning and things like that. but-
PlayEast World Headquarters at its own facility. Not that I've given it any.
Right, so those are big goals and long-term goals. But yeah, great question, because again, it is important that the board hears that, new members, and understands that we'll do it. Another philosophy is like, we'll try everything once or twice, 3 times, until we finally see like, is it go or do we kind of still kind of learning, is it working, what's the best opportunity?
That's what's nice about like swim, for example, it's its own facility. So it does its own thing.
That's why we like being outside, because again, it's minimal coordination, is the space available, perfect, we're gonna take it, things like that. So it's really that indoor space that it's really more of that coordination aspect.
Okay.
World headquarters.
So if you know anybody that has some facilities they want to let us borrow,
I mean, is that something we've done, some outreach in the community? We trade, a 2-day camp, we use your space for 2 days and you get an advertisement and, our, I can't think of what this is called, our announcement board that goes out, or, have we talked to some of the business owners who have space like that?
yes and no, but I think what we've also tried to do is, how far do we go? Right? So a lot of it has tried to centralize within Fairview.
Yes.
So that's very limited as well. We do have now a contract with the city of Gresham. That's also limited to what they've been able to offer, because private businesses are a little different. But we've tried to, reach out to our faith-based communities out here that have spaces available. Sometimes it works, sometimes it hasn't. It's turnover, or just, their vision is a little different. And, not trying to intertwine a lot of these things, but.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
We've tried to do as much as possible. I think that's where the question is like, I know a business owner here that would be interested. It'd be a conversation to have, and, see if it really, something can develop from that as well.
I think that's part of the challenge, a space like this, conference room, great for maybe some dance, Lego, that type of thing. Basketball, soccer, they get harder, and the facilities built for that, which there are some in Troutdale and Gresham, they're programmed out, they're revenue generating for them.
Yeah.
And so for us to try to pay for that means the classes are no longer in the target price point.
But again, I think I think that's where we're banking on the school district to say, okay, what can we do? And so we try to be as flexible as we can also, but, understanding that we are still serving school-age families, and so, a 9 o'clock start time is probably not ideal on Thursday.
We've got a good partnership with the district, again, kind of that mutually beneficial, like, look, we can help them young, so when they come to middle school, they've got familiarity with the sport, so then their feeder programs to the high school level, because as they're trying to rebuild a lot of that, in a post-COVID world, it's like, let us help you on that journey, especially at the elementary level, where maybe there's been cuts or it's hard to get programming. We just need the space. We've got the heart.
Yeah,
The
and
space.
they're not created equal, because we did a dance class, my son was at Glen Auto Park, and it was painful, because they had chairs stacked everywhere, and he was just like, this is for me. And like, no interest in dance, and wanted to climb all over everything, and it was just like, this is chaos. Like,
Parkour is for.
yeah, exactly, well, exactly, now we all look for parkour. I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God, it's fun. But it was just like, the space was, they had it, but it was like not ideal for what was happening.
But we,
Climbing camp.
Yes.
but we, like, there are some businesses, you mentioned Parkour, so Parkour it's a Gresham business that has a Gresham facility, so we partner with them. And so we advertise, we register through us, and it just happens over there. So there's a lot of that collaboration of, yes, private entities, we can partner with them. And we'll look for what that looks like as well, because it's got to make sense for both of us, so.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're wanting to charge a lot more, so it's like, well, our, you know, who we're serving is really within this range here and things of that nature, so there's a lot of that. Another piece in summer is our summer lunch program, so this is something that PlayEast has been doing ever since I can remember. Last year and this year has been the only 2 years where we have done additional weeks through PlayEast. So what does that mean? We purchase the food, we prepare food, we give the food out. The other weeks is we partner with the Rental School District again, that partnership, where they provide the meals to us and then we distribute on their kind of behalf. A unique aspect of our, it's called a community site, is that we serve adults. Other sites don't, just because the school district has a policy that it will serve students 18 to 1-year-olds. Anything above that, they don't serve. So what we basically told the school district is allow us to serve adults, we will pay for those to us. So we absorb that cost. So in the staff report, you see kind of a data table here, and overall, through the 7 weeks, we serve a little more than 1,100 meals this summer. So we were out there Monday through Friday, except for 4th of July, but the rain, heat wave, all of it, they were out there, and you know, I think again, we see the need. We see the need out there. We have a lot of families. The last week said, are you guys gonna be out here again? It's like, no, this is our last week. So again, the need's there, and we were able to extend it all the way through mid-August, where again, previous years, like that beginning of August has been really the cutoff point, things of that nature. So we did get the Grand Ron to sponsor one of the weeks, so really, that really helps us in being able to provide this meals for
One, what was neat, you know, about midway into the first week, you start seeing people show up to the park, you know, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they're, you know, it's families and they're playing with a splash flag park, you know, whatever. And you think, wow, this place is hopping, you know, especially around noontime. At 1:30, 2 o'clock, it's like a ghost town again. But I mean, you really saw people coming out to the park, but you know, they're on the playground, they're playing, families, then having the lunch, maybe a little more play, and then, you know, so it's just a really nice community feature that also feeds kids in a time where schools, you know, they're not getting fed at school because it's school not in session. So I've always loved this program because we've tried to do iterations of it before PlayEast existed, and it worked really well to fold it in, because then whether it's half day or full day camps, there's mixed for those kids. And even with the adult side, we learned that years ago, you know, kids not wanting to eat if mom or dad or whomever, you know, older sibling couldn't eat.
Yeah.
And so, and we didn't, I'm sure some of them were probably unhoused individuals, you know, grabbing a snack here, but we didn't, it wasn't like they were lining up and that was who we were serving. I mean, predominant of the adults was like those parents or older, you know, siblings.
Yeah, we could say about close to 95 to 98% with families. So, you know, again, it's tremendous to see that, again, that we've had folks from day one come each week. You know, so it's the needs there. So it was a good thing. This year we budgeted, well, last fiscal year we budgeted about $3,500 for it. Oh no, this year we budgeted $3,500 for it. We came under.
And we served more meals than last year.
Yeah, we served.
Fiscal impact for how many meals were served is impressive. Like, that's a very low number. It's a much lower number than I would have expected. How important that program is.
We'll try to do our best again to provide as nutritious of a meal as we can, understanding that we're constrained with, you know, with what we have for options. Though we've had great partners. So Alpen Rose, well, the Smith Brothers, formerly known as Alpen Rose, they donated the meals for both weeks that we did our meals. So I mean that, you know, looking at the cost, is that something we could probably afford? Sure, yeah. But again, if we're able to save that to go elsewhere, that's great. And this year, maybe not the healthiest, but I think it's good. So we got McDonald's from Cherry Park to donate.
Heck yeah.
That was the best meal of the year.
My 5-year-old was like, this
Chocolate,
is
milk, and
best park trip I've ever had.
Yeah.
We had them 50 cheeseburgers, which is again, you know, all the help we can get, because again, it's providing something that otherwise we probably wouldn't. So, you know, just looking at leaning on our community partners, community folks that are in the community that want to give back. So I think next year, we'll explore what that looks like as more businesses are around. Are they willing to sponsor or donate something? Last year, we had Jamba Juice donate 30 smoothies. So again, we're always looking for any type of partnership that fits within what we want to do and deliver. So
Those extra weeks matter.
they do, yeah.
So is there what is the reason for not going through the end of August? Is it staffing, coordination?
A little bit of both. So this kind of falls into the next topic, but a big piece of what we are able to do in summer is our summer intern. So done some more works, and we transition to the next topic. I'll talk about this year because of some needs, some struggles with that. Kind of our that's more. This year, we were gracious. Yes, grow the program with adding 2 permanent, 1.75 FTEs.
They don't have the top.
I'm wondering which way.
We're going horribly, but again, that is a big reason of why we only do goals that we do.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other? Guess we'll go right into.
All right,
your
so, yeah,
homework recap.
Summer work, so I've been partnering with Summer Works for about 10 plus years, 6 years as I've been in this role. And it's never been the easiest, but this year has been the most challenging. Understanding that they were going through some financial restrictions and cuts, having to come from federal, some states, some local, and things of that nature. A big piece of my frustration was just what was communicated to us of a July 1st start. But I guess it's perspective on what July 1st means. It didn't mean we would start with summer work youth, is that they would start their process. But that was not communicated to us. And so traditionally what we've been able to do is PlayEast has worked as a referral site, meaning that the youth that we work through the year with as volunteers or just connections we have in the community, we would be able to refer them to Summer Works. They would do their questionnaire, and then select us as a work site. So we would also be a work site, meaning that we would provide the work for the youth. What did that mean for us? Basically that we agreed that we would have a supervisor on hand all the time while the youth were working and provide them a work experience up to 160 hours for the summer. Fit really well with what we do during the summer, natural fit. Really no expense on us, but covering costs of maybe supervision and things of that nature, so minimal things. Again, this year, we were mentioned that we could only be a referral site or a work site, so we elected to be a work site, still referring youth that we knew that they could apply for that and they could choose us as a site or any other sites that was available for them to select. Really difficult process. Our first youth didn't come on board until I think July 14th, 16th, so we were behind on. We also offered a free technology camp this summer with Free Geek, so kind of like iPads, they do videos and they learn a little bit of that. So we didn't have some more youth for that to help with that. That was our first week of our summer lunch program, so it was a very difficult week. We tried to figure out a volunteer. We were all out in the field that week and a very struggle. The second youth didn't come on until after. We responded to have 6 youth during the summer, so. For Summer Works, we were only able to have two youth. In sight of a need, of urgency, I came to both Greg and Nathan and said, what can we do internally? Looking at our budget, $8,000 higher in our fundraising. Understanding that this fiscal year we would be increasing our administration fee for the city of Gresham with the contract. They gave us quarterly, they used to give us 10,000 quarterly. This fiscal year, they're gonna give us 12,500, so understanding that we're gonna give an additional 10,000 to them. I kind of started crunching some numbers, and I said, what would it look like for us to in-house hire temporary staff? Kind of similar to what Summer Works did, minimum wage for 160 hours. And I kind of roughly came up to hiring 5 of them cost us about $15,000. So within, the scheme of what we had additional, I said we can make it work. And so I came to John, who's the chair, and Jenny, and I kind of presented them the same scenario. And basically we said, okay, let's go ahead and hire some temporary staff. What we ended up doing was hiring 2 additional temporary staff with the 2 summer work staff. So we were still down 2, but we had 4 now versus 0. And that was really our ability to do all those in-house programs the second week, the last week of our summer lunch program, plus all of our things that we do during the summer. So Summer Works is an essential piece to what we are able to do in the summer or what we're not able to do during the summer. So as we look towards the future and budgeting next, within a couple months, next calendar year, I'll be kind of presenting, looking at anticipating for the worst, which would be something similar to what happened this year with Summer Works, or they completely dismantling and no longer offering that program. So what do we do in the meantime? So in the staff report talks about a scenario, but there's other options that we can also consider going directly to Multnomah County as their piece to Summer Works. They directly provide us funds to get other grant opportunities to help essential services. We need to continue to offer some of these things because if not, again, staffing is a big piece to that. Summer lunch program and in-house camps that we are hoping to.
Anything else on Summer Works? All right, moving on to fall program and events.
All right, so in your packet, and if you guys haven't got it in the mail, then you need to talk to your mail carrier because you should have already got it. It is our first edition.
Got a week ago.
Only.
It's over a week ago. then.
Get one.
You don't got one? We're supposed to mail that.
To the Fairview's got them.
Hey, post office, yes. I get it.
Got them in Fairview.
Yeah, I was like, I have one.
I got one. Well,
Okay, at least you got one, so at least now we know they at least made it to part of Woodville.
Got one now.
so this is our first solo edition. Prior to this, since the start of PlayEast, it's always been a joint effort also with the city of Troutdale to do guides on reverse side. So benefits to that is that we were able to, more community members were able to get our guide, but the con to that was folks were confusing both programs because they were on reverse side. So we would get a lot of Troutdales, they would get a lot of these things. And so, but this really, it provides us an opportunity for many folds. One, we are in full control of when this goes out, what do we do if we want to change it or anything of that nature. And then we've always had control of what is on our end, but again, as we are growing, do we change the amount of quantity pages it has? Do we do a different iteration of the whole guide altogether? But in short, here's all of our fall programming that we have currently available to register. Fall registrations opened up August 18th. This should have hit the mail, so I apologize for those that didn't get it. But we are in full swing. I will say it's pretty status quo by what that means is these are the same programs we offered last fall, last winter, and this last spring. The only big change in here is we did increase the number of swim classes we are offering this year. And so if you see, they're doing 2 days a month, but they're kind of a duration of 4 months. So September all the way through kind of December-ish. Besides that, like I mentioned, everything else is pretty typical to what we've offered in previous years.
So we don't do a resident, non-resident.
We don't.
Is there a reason why we don't do that?
From what I understand, when the program was created, because it was two cities joining, the focus was to serve the rental school district. And since the rental school district obviously touches 5 municipalities, it'd be kind of hard to say, well, you, not you, and things like that.
Okay.
So it's always
And
been-
that was part of the conversation with the school district and using facilities was, yes, this is a paid program, but there's the scholarship and it's open, essentially, it's open to anyone. And we've seen,
If they're not a rental school district?
correct,
Okay.
and where we've seen that would be harder to kind of, I think, admin is maybe kid lives in Fairview Wood Village, but grandparent lives in Camas and they're actually one paying for it. So it's like, well, how do you prove who
Yeah.
lives where?
That makes sense.
And
We're
we,
not trout, we don't have that whole resident, non-resident rate around here.
and how we're structured financially is very unique, and I haven't came across any national in the nation of, again, two cities paying for one staffer and then everything else having to come through other forms of revenue. So again, that's, as some people say, well, our taxpayers' dollars, require a certain X. Well, yeah, the private donations from the city of Gresham also come into play, all these other sources of revenue come in to help us do what we can. So it's again, it's very unique. And I don't think we'll find that ever anywhere else. That's how we're structured that.
Right.
I was just curious.
Yeah. No, I mean, there has been some of that discussion, but I think where where it's very limiting for me and challenging is how do we find a system that allows us the flexibility to say, okay, Gresham residents that live in, these streets here fall within the fee difference. So if you're outside this, then it's a different, so there isn't a software out there, one that can, we can draw lines and say, this is what we want it to be and things of that nature. So it's just, one, administratively, it's just easier. I'll say that is a lot easier.
And then just one other question so far. Where does it say in here when registration opens?
It doesn't. And so our communication is, through what we do through social media. We do communications, mass email through our registration system. So if you registered before, we put it out there, open registration. We communicate with the school district through the Peach Jar, Parent Square, to put some messaging out for us. And so we don't do it on here because sometimes these get mailed out after registration happens. So kind of anticipating just like you get this, kind of look online.
Okay.
But that is something we can totally look into, putting something on here that's saying this means registration is open. I think could really work out as well.
Yeah, and it just kind of goes to the thing that we talked about during the interview for me for this role, where, kind of that inequality or inequity of when registration opens for different people at different, during the day. And so, I think having it posted, maybe the people don't have social media or internet, having it would be a good idea.
Yeah, that's good.
I was just checking the Wood Village newsletter, 'cause we do a slightly different ad.
And it does say,
I think it has like registration opens,
Okay.
yeah. And that, though, our new, it goes to every single address in Wood Village.
Yeah, I do get that.
so in there, so for the newsletters, it is a different thing than that, it's actual flyer, and we do put it on there, and that's kind of our communication that goes out. So this is more like just a different type of mailer, but again, it wouldn't hurt to put on here, registration opens this date. So if you get it before, then if you get it after, then you also know that it's open already. So they're not having to come like, oh, well, we didn't know. So
I think on the city's electronic message center by the freeway, I think we always put like registration now open, fall.
And what we try to do also, when we do open registrations, the one in Wood Village kind of stays up permanently, which is awesome, but at least for
You know the
Fairview,
guy.
at least for Fairview, we put up banners when it opens up, and then we take them down when it's kind of like it has already happened and things like that. So we try to find other means of getting the message out, but again, duly noted, we can include it in the guide as well.
And I think, Rec Night, we had that this year, which was kind of a rebrand of a different event, but it was really focused on them. You could try out a lot of the ones and learn when registration was going to open or how to register. So again, promotional activity, plus then, I guess, is that even like the 5K, if someone was interested in other programs?
We'll still have it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, those areas of opportunity.
Good job. Wow.
Are there any other items to discuss or questions for tonight?
Last things I will say is that we have our 4th annual costume dash. So if you didn't see it in the guide, it's like the 4th page. It's costumes are not required, but they're optional and highly recommended.
And they encourage.
It is a one of our PlayEast events. So with that, we are looking for volunteers the day of. And it's mostly just to stand by markers, helping guide the participants through the course. So the 5K happens at Donald Robertson Park. It starts there, it weaves through the park, and then it jumps onto McMiniman Golf Course. So we have a partnership with McMiniman's that allows us to use their facility for the course. And then it whoops through their golf course, but again, there's so much looping and turning that sometimes we try to do our best as marking it, but always find that actual people guiding is what we need. So we are looking for volunteers to help station at those positions to help guide with that. So the event's October 4th, Saturday. We will be there as early as 6:30 setting up. Registration start.
Think of you when I roll out of my bed at 7,
Yeah,
get my cup of coffee.
on-site registration start at 8 with the race happening at 9. A unique thing and something different that we are doing this year is what we're calling a mini dash. And so last year we had a lot of families with little ones participate, but they're like, we are not going to do the whole course. So they did their own course and we took note. And so we're going to be doing that course for them as well. So they start at 9:30. It is a much smaller course. And again, I think it's more friendlier for our younger demographic. So
You had what, 80 or so last year?
well, last year we had over 100 people register. About, I would say 60 to 70 actually showed up.
It was,
Do what you want as long as you register, that's all.
That's right. Okay.
I just love imagining the 30 people that woke up that day and were like,
And we've lucked out the last 2 years, so it's been pretty.
Yeah.
The weather has
Last year
been
was
amazing.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
we end the event around 11:30, and by that time, people are taking their costumes off. It's about 7. So, good weather, and it's a good event. And we're hoping to have some vendors out there do our sponsorships. Volunteer.
I can volunteer. Put my name down.
I'll be there in one capacity or another. Either I'm gonna do it again this year or I'll volunteer.
So
I'm the same as her.
Okay.
We'll see. I ran hood to coast this past weekend, so we'll see.
Why?
No, I was a captain on a team of people who didn't want to be captain. And then one of those
Is
people
that your
dropped,
team name?
that should be the team name.
Captains who don't wanna be captains.
And somebody wasn't able to get a flight from New York in, and rather than having somebody
happened
pick up.
just the other week.
Good excuse.
Right?
Yeah, rather than having somebody on the team pick up extra legs, I ran last year also, and 3 people didn't show up last year. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
we all ran
Never had
4
that.
to 5 legs instead of just our 3. It was
Yeah.
awful.
That's terrible.
So we all decided this year we're not doing that again.
Like 8 times.
The pre-warm.
I used to run and
Like, we're not
I
doing
don't do
that.
it anymore.
We
Now I
want to
walk.
experience the
Yeah.
first band and the second band,
Sometimes
the
Thursdays I
starting
can't
line
do
and the
that very
finish line.
well,
Yeah. So, but I did have a question. Do these volunteer opportunities, do they qualify for the Avid kids at Reynolds, for their volunteer hours?
So we don't have a direct partnership, but I do know that we can still sign off on them.
Yeah, we can
And it
sign
still,
off.
and it still counts.
Okay, good.
So, that is something that we're looking to do this year, actually, with our program coordinator, is to actually connect with the admin teacher. Say, hey, can you put our events out there as opportunities for kids to sign up? Just have that direct, connection, but yes, they do count anyways, because we will sign off. We will even do letters of recommendations or afterwards of completing, any volunteer opportunity that they do for us.
City does the same if there's someone that needs hours.
My son is an Avid and has been since, I think, 6th grade at the middle school, so I can talk to his Avid teacher and see if they could.
My niece
you know,
got hours last year. We're doing volunteer stuff for the city.
Yeah,
My
We
daughter,
just
my
sign
daughter,
off on the sheet.
okay.
And they,
my daughter didn't have a choice, but she did that also.
Yeah, my son didn't have a choice. And my daughter, her either, and
Yeah, so we welcome all volunteers. And then lastly for me is that we don't meet again until December. So October, obviously the costume dash will happen, but I'm also at a conference that week that we would have met, so it's not. And then November is due to the nature of it, so we'll reconvene in December. So by December, we'll give a fall recap and kind of our initial steps budget. So again, probably the next time we meet, February, closer, right in the midst of budgeting, and the way we're structured, we will need to come for this in March to then send it to the cities, to their respected committees, but it would allow time for the board to give input into changes in the budget. I see.
Sounds good.
if I could, just how did Rec Night go? For those who couldn't.
Yeah, so Rec Night, as Greg mentioned, was a imagination revamp of a event we called Friday Family Fun Night that was also a whole lot of events. So basically, our idea this year was Rec Night to focus on showcasing our programs that we offer with our providers. And even though there was not as many attendees as last year, I think we still had a great turnout. Last few years, we've been able to have back to school items also, so backpacks, things. We planned for 200 backpacks. We probably gave out 120 to 130 backpacks solely to kids only. So I think it was a great benefit. What we ended up doing with the remaining was donated to the Christian credit department. Also, in this back to school drive, so I think gives them some kudos and kind of that strengthening that partnership with them. We had about 7 vendors there, and probably in total, we probably had anywhere from like 200 to 250 people attend the event, come and go. Free food, ice cream, shaved ice. Showcasing our providers, Parkour, Skyhawk was out there, if you're West. Reynolds Soccer Club was out there providing free clinics and things like that. So I think it was a good event. I think that we'll continue to do something of this iteration that fits well with what we're trying to accomplish there. So. That's all I have.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Nope.
Take a motion to adjourn. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Adjourning.